Hey guys, so I was folding laundry and I did a video about how Deacon was doing in school. You may have already seen it because this is posted obviously after the fact. This video is going to be about what I told the kids and their reactions. So I'm going to try not to fold laundry, but it's really hard for me to just sit here while it's like coming. It's like ridiculous. It's out of control. So at first, when we first left, I didn't tell them anything. Now they kind of already were a little hurt by him and a little, the whole situation. It was an ugly environment, to be honest. And I don't think it was just, he was being ugly. I talked about this in my divorce video. So they weren't exactly, torn apart when I left. At first it was just like, yeah, sweet, we get to go to Nana Papa's house and stay the night at Nana Papa's house. And, one night turned into a month. And it was fun. And, they didn't ask to see him. It was strange. And before we got divorced, he worked a lot of hours. I'm talking like 6 hours a week. He worked a lot of hours. Who knows what he was doing. But it was at least 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. The days started, he'd leave for work at like 7 a.m. and get home super late every night. There was something late going on, and, he'd get home at, anywhere from 9 to 11. It was crazy. So they didn't see a whole lot of him anyways. It's kind of always just been me. And it wasn't like that in the beginning of Deacon's life, but it was definitely like that for the, entire duration of Drake's life when we were together. So when we left, it wasn't a big deal. It was fun. It was like summer vacation. Like I said, we were at Nana Papa's house. I just told them that, we needed some time for Dad to hopefully make some better choices, that he'd made some bad decisions. And you'll hear me say this a lot. Dad made some bad decisions. Daddy needs to start making good decisions. And to this day, that's the main thing that I say. That's what they recite to other people. And, it is what it is. My shirt is out of control. I'm sorry. So, both of the boys, Deacon was aware of a lot more because when I'd left, he was 3, 4. Like, I left on his 4th birthday. So, the day after. So he just turned 4. I mean, we're talking hours into being 4. So he was okay. He had a lot of questions. He had a rough idea of what was going on, but wasn't concerned. And then we went and stayed with his mom for a month. And that was just wonderful. That was a full-blown, summer vacation. They live on a huge ranch. It was so much fun. So we did that for a month, and then we came back here for a month. At that time, I ran out of space. So at that time, he still hadn't really seen the kids. And, they kind of just grown accustomed to it. And it's sad. It's really sad. I mean, it breaks my heart, but they just weren't fazed. To be completely honest, they weren't fazed. And, we'd go days where he wouldn't call at all, like days to weeks, and I mean, that hasn't changed. And then there'd be days where it was 50 times, like in a row, just 50. It was insane. So, we dealt with that for quite some time, but basically that was it up until, even now. I guess what I'm just trying to say is that they just didn't care. Now, when Deacon turned 5, I said to Deacon, I said, honey, are you ready to know about everything that's happened with Daddy? And do you want to know about his bad decisions? I said, when we get home, I'd like to tell you. I'd like to talk to you about it. Because I honestly believe that if I educate my children on this, and somebody out there might just be laughing their booty off at me right now, but I genuinely feel like if I educate my children on drugs and drug use and the consequences, that there is a really good chance that I might save them from making the same decisions. Now, I understand that, it's the odds of my children, getting hooked on meth are higher than somebody who doesn't. And I understand this, or doesn't have parents who have done it, blah, blah, blah. I understand that, but I just, I'm hoping for the best. And I feel like education is key to everything. And that if I could just teach them everything that they need to know about it and all the reasons why they shouldn't do it, then, you know, maybe there's some hope there for that. So I wanted to start talking to him about it, and I wanted him to understand that it wasn't me making these decisions, and it wasn't my fault, because, you know, he'd obviously say things to Deacon, and I've never once badmouthed him ever in front of the kids. I mean, he's done things like after the math stole my car. He's done, I mean, just, you name it. He's done it to me. And I've never once badmouthed him to my kids. I mean, my friends have heard a nice, you know, some choice words, but you know, the kids never have. And I've never, ever. So, oh gosh, some of the things he's done are just unbelievable. But, yeah, I wanted to talk to him about it, and I wanted to share everything with him. So we were at the gas station, and he was helping me pump gas, because I'm that mom who's taught my 5-year-old how to pump gas. But I'm like, let's talk about it when we get home. He's like, no, let's talk about it now. And I'm like, oh, let's talk about it when we get home. And, you know, Drake's not around, and we can just have a little heart-to-heart about it. And then he's like, nah, he's like, let's wait till I'm 6. I'm like, Deacon, okay, fine, we can wait till you're 6. And, later, he was just like, Mom, can you tell me now? I'm like, okay. And basically, I kept it as elementary as possible. I said that the bad decisions that Daddy has made are drugs. And drugs hurt our bodies. They're very bad for our bodies, and they change who we are. And when Daddy does drugs, he's not the normal person that he is. And that, I mean, he'd heard the term drug test quite a few times, because in our paperwork, he has to pass 3 consecutive drug tests in a 6-month time frame in order to have the kids, blah, blah, blah. So, he'd heard the term, just me talking to my parents, me talking to my mother-in-law, whatever. He just kind of, in passing, heard the term drug test, and then he put it together, and he's like, so he has to take a drug test, and then we get to, you know, spend the night at his house and stuff like that. And I said, yeah. That's exactly what has to happen. So he has to make good decisions, he has to stop using drugs, and he has to pass a test that says he's not using the drugs anymore. And that's all I told him. And you know what? That was enough to satisfy that, and for him to understand that drugs are the bad decisions that Daddy is making, and that, you know, he has to stop those in order to, you know, be there and whatnot. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, because this is like a big topic, and I'm just flying from the seat of my pants and my laundry pile, let me know. It was a hard one, but I gave it time. It had been a year since like the divorce was official. Our divorce it went through really fast. So no, it had been like 11 months before I told him everything that happened. And then, you know, and he just still knows. And it's hard, because when he does see them, he says to me things like, you know, Daddy told me I'm making good decisions now. And it's like, okay, well, all he's got to do is take the test and show us, and, you know. So it's just hard. I just don't want them to think that it's my fault, but I also don't want to paint a horrible picture of him, which is a shame, because I kind of should. But I won't do that to my kids, you know. Still their dad. But, you know, I'll be honest. I believe honesty is the best policy. I truly do. So I'm just going to keep it age appropriate and just go from there. So anyways, that's it. I'll hush. Look at all this laundry I get back to. Isn't that horrible? I guess it's not that bad. Well, it's worse than you can see. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.